My name is Danny, I'm 23 years old, and this was going to be my first year ever making up to and over $100,000. But after some thought, I decided to cut off the income source that was going to push me over $100,000. So in this video, I want to tell you how I was going to make $100,000 at age 23, why I turned down making $100,000, and finally, why sometimes the money isn't worth it. But first, let me give you some context. So I've been a chronic overworker for the last 3 years. In fact, if you randomly picked a week out of my life in that time frame, it would be a shock if I did not work over 80 hours. Okay, so here's how I did it. I would have a full-time job, a part-time job, and then I'd take freelance work in music, film, and then restaurant consulting. Yeah, the last one's kind of a long story, but basically Chick-fil-A's would pay me to come into their restaurants and train and help their teams. Anyway, so yeah, for the most part, I was working an average of 80 hours every single week. Now here's the thing, I don't think there's anything wrong with working that much in your life during a certain season. Like if you are a young single person and you need to get your money up, absolutely, put your nose down and just grind. And that's exactly what I did. I saw it as an opportunity to use that season to help prepare me for the rest of my life. And actually, it was because of this work ethic and constant grinding that I was able to pay off all of my student loans in 5 months and 11 days. The total was around $25,000, so I'm super thankful that I was able to do that. Anyway, 2 years ago, I moved from Virginia to Tennessee, and I quickly began working my butt off as usual. I got my main job, I got my side hustle, and then I started finding freelance work again in film, music, and restaurant consulting. I was working harder than I ever had in my whole life when I got here. I would go to bed most nights at 8 p.m. and then wake up at 3:30 in the morning to go to my first job. Once my main job got out at 2 or 3 p.m., I would head to my part-time job and I'd be there for another 3 to 5 hours. And I did this for like 6 months. But then one day I was at the gym and I saw a girl. And you know that saying, you know when you know? So I'll save that whole story for another time. But basically, stuff surprisingly worked out. I introduced myself to this girl, started dating this girl, then fell in love with this girl and proposed to this girl. And soon, that girl is gonna be my wife, which is super crazy to say. But when I met her, for the first time in my life, all of the extra hours and hustling that I was doing did not seem like the best investment for my time. It just didn't feel right anymore. So to help paint this picture, here's a breakdown of my finances at the time when I met her. Okay, so my main job gave me a little bit past halfway to 100K. My part-time job got me like 20% closer to 100K, and then freelance work, our restaurant consulting, that would close the gap to 100K and over. So if I kept everything the way it was going, with everything that I had in the pipeline, this year I was going to make between $105,000 to $110,000, which is a lot. It's a whole lot, especially for being 23. So I don't take that for granted at all. Anyway, as this girl and I started getting more serious and I realized that I wanted to propose, I also realized that something 100% had to change in my day-to-day schedule. Because truthfully, I did not have the time to invest in her that she 100% deserved. So after spending some time thinking about my own goals and their significance to me, I ended up cutting off my part-time job, which at the time was about $22,000 a year. And when I did this, I was like pretty positive that that was me just locking in, not making $100,000 in 1 year, the goal that I had wanted for so long. But the really cool thing for me was it didn't really faze me. I was actually very okay with it. Okay, and real quick, for the critics out there who may be watching this and thinking,
oh man, this girl's got this dude on a leash. He met her and he lost all of his ambition.
That's 100% not the case. Okay, but here's the whole point of this video and what I want you to take away from it. Money comes and goes. There are seasons where you 100% need to make making money a top priority. But then there are also seasons where you need to evaluate its importance and how much time you're spending trying to make money. I think for me, it comes down to what matters most when. And this is like totally contrary to hustle culture, but money is not always what matters most. When you are on your deathbed, the last thing you're gonna be thinking about is, oh my goodness, I wish I made an extra milli. No, you're gonna be wishing for more time with the people that you loved. So I would encourage you to not wait for your deathbed for that reality check to come. If you're currently in the season of grinding and just being responsible for yourself, then that's great, that's fantastic. But be a good steward of this season and come out better than you went in. But if you are in the season where God has trusted you specifically with precious relationships to take care of, don't squander that. There's a Bible verse that I think fits this video really well. It's Ecclesiastes 3 verses 1 through 2. It says, "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck what is planted." So when you're in the planting season, you are grinding and you are sowing seeds that will hopefully impact the rest of your life. And that season is very important. But when you are in the season of plucking, that's when you need to take a good, strong look at your life and decide what truly matters. And here's a hint. It will always be people. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll also like this one. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy content that challenges you, and I will see you guys next week.